In the summer of 1994, a 30-year-old senior vice president at the hedge fund Deshaun named Jeff Bezos made a decision that would change the global economy. He quit. He had read a statistic that the internet was growing at 2,300% a year, and he sat down to make a list of products that could be sold online. Books 1. There were 3 million books in print at any given time, far more than any physical store could stock. Bezos drove across the country from New York to Seattle. His wife Mackenzie drove while he wrote the business plan in the passenger seat. He applied what he called his regret minimization framework. Imagine yourself at 80, looking back. Would you regret not trying this? He started Amazon in a garage. 14 months later, in July 1995, he sold his first book online. Books were always a Trojan horse. From the very beginning, Bezos described Amazon not as a bookstore but as an everything store. The book category was simply the best available on-ramp to building the logistics, the software, the payment infrastructure, and the customer trust that could eventually sell anything. This long-term thinking, the willingness to accept years of losses in pursuit of a market position that competitors could not easily replicate, became Amazon's defining competitive advantage. Wall Street hated it for years. Amazon was perpetually not profitable in conventional terms. Bezos was perpetually not interested in conventional terms. He kept investing. He kept building. The losses were the strategy. Amazon Prime launched in February 2005. For $79 a year, customers got free 2-day shipping on everything Amazon sold. The program looked expensive on paper. In practice, it was one of the most sophisticated loyalty mechanisms ever designed. A Prime member does not comparison shop. A Prime member has already decided that Amazon is where they buy things. Every incremental Prime benefit, streaming video, music, photo storage, grocery delivery, deepened that decision. Prime created a customer base that shops on Amazon by default. It also created the subscription revenue stream that helped smooth Amazon's historically lumpy financials. Prime now has over 200 million subscribers globally. Amazon Web Services launched publicly in 2006 and became the most consequential accidental business in technology history. Amazon had built enormous computing infrastructure to run its own operations, then realized it could rent that infrastructure to other companies. AWS was not Amazon's plan. It became Amazon's most profitable business unit. By 2023, AWS was generating approximately $87 billion in annual revenue and accounted for roughly 70% of Amazon's total operating profit. The retail business, for all its scale, ran on thin margins. AWS ran on margins that would make a pharmaceutical company jealous. AWS became the invisible infrastructure of the modern internet, running significant portions of Netflix, Airbnb, Slack, LinkedIn, and thousands of other services that most people use every day without knowing they are running on Amazon. The Amazon Marketplace, the platform that allows third-party sellers to sell products through Amazon's website and fulfillment network, has become equally transformative. Third-party sellers account for roughly 60% of all units sold on Amazon. Amazon charges them fees for the privilege and, increasingly, for advertising to reach customers on the same platform. Amazon's advertising business, which barely existed a decade ago, generated over $40 billion in 2023. Amazon built a business model where its competitors paid to reach its customers, then paid again to fulfill orders through Amazon's logistics network. The flywheel Bezos described in his first shareholder letter in 1997: more customers attract more sellers, which lowers prices, which attract more customers, was not a metaphor. It was an operating system. Bezos stepped down as CEO in July 2021, replaced by Andy Jassy, the architect of AWS. Amazon's market capitalization at that point was approaching $2 trillion. The regret minimization framework had worked. The company that started in a garage selling books now sells everything and runs the infrastructure that allows much of the rest of the global economy to sell things too. Bezos's day one philosophy, the belief that every day should be approached with the urgency and hunger of a startup's first morning, was the cultural counterforce to complacency. Companies that fall apart, he argued, entered day 2, stasis, irrelevance, and eventual death. Staying in day 1, relentlessly building, obsessing over the customer rather than the competitor, that was the entire strategy. Simple to describe, extraordinary to execute.